What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Alright, today we're going to be talking about, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you doing on this fine occasion? Today we're going to be looking at Jubilees. I am an incel, ask me anything. And guess what? I am also an incel, so ask me anything. I'm kidding. But I haven't gotten any yet. Still waiting for the perfect man, or whatever people say these days to make the excuse that they still haven't scored. Anyways. Today we're going to be breaking this down. His name's Derek, and I think it'll just be interesting because I have a pretty chill vibe, kind of perception of incels. The stereotypical incel, I'm not particularly threatened nor inclined by, but hey, you know what? Let's just see where this goes. I don't know. Let's check this Dealio Bop out and see how much we hate ourselves by the end of the night, shall we? I'm just going to adjust this screen. Ah, there he is. There's our magnificent man. Alright. Today we're going to be doing the video like this. If it doesn't look good enough, sucks. Sucks to swallow. Let's go.
If you could summarize your opinion towards women?
Like what I think of them?
Yes.
I do think they are very important, but...
The but is very emphasized. Jeez, I'm already interrupting. I'm so sorry.
Some topics are hard to approach.
More and more male hatred against women is rising up.
You might call this a new phenomenon.
Either the subject...
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be smiling, but I just think it's stupid because obviously, like, incels, like the stereotypical incel is the most extreme case of extreme, and there are some people that just don't get any until later in life, and they're not the stereotypical, like, you know, gonna assault women should have rights kind of person, but... That is also definitively, like, what an incel has become in this day and age, so I am curious to see, like, what the setup is. I'm gonna go into this really unbiased. I think he's just gonna be a guy who hasn't gotten any and maybe can't score chicks, but, what do I know?
Topics are inaccessible, or people are uncomfortable discussing them.
If you're an ugly guy, you better get a good job and make some money, because nobody's gonna want to talk to you.
Girls, I will destroy you.
You don't deserve to get laid at all!
So we found those subjects in person, rented a space in Hollywood, and invited our audience and any strangers walking by to come inside and ask them anything.
Okay, hey, I'm Brendio. I also go by Derek. I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
I can start. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
So you're an incel?
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Honestly, like, this is my number one thing that I have to totally diss, and this is just because my whole entire, like, perception of reality literally bases itself off of not identifying with groups of people, because as you identify with a group, you do associate with, you know, the bad incel, the typical, stereotypical women shouldn't have rights, you know, beat down women, you know, women should bend to my will incel. You are identifying with that group, so you shouldn't, unless this guy literally has the same beliefs, which I don't want to state until I know, but, like, if you identify with the group, you automatically are going to be associated with such, even if you were to just completely denounce titleage. Like, the reality is, if you identify with the group and you identify with that community of individuals, you will take the good, the bad, the ugly, and the incel.
Yeah, and do you think that's a good thing?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
Who?
That is understandable also because the most extreme individuals are going to also be the most loud individuals. It's gone this way for years. I mean, you know, the vegans, that was a good example. A lot of vegans were not on the extreme side. They were just people who wanted, you know, decent animal rights. And then you had the one extreme, you know, of vegan gains, or the perceived extreme of vegan gains, or Freely the Banana Girl, or, you know, other vegans. But I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not making too much sense. But, you know, again, some of them are going to be extreme. Some of them just going to be kind of like dweebs, like little brothers or something.
Hurt you, or what happened? What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Society.
Do you hate women?
No.
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 Do you have a feel?
No, you like women. That's kind of the point of being an incel, I think. I don't know. But also, like, I'm not trying to be, like, weird, okay? I need to get a picture of this boy.
Do you?
He's so, like, he's literally like me with my hair going down too much. Like, my hair is just always in my face. It's a very bad haircut. But, like, he actually doesn't look that, like, bad or anything like that. Like, yeah, he's, like, wearing a hoodie. Like, I can't really tell what's going on down below. But, like, he probably could handle, like, a haircut, do a little bit of grooming and stuff like that.
You hate women?
No.
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 Do you have a female role model in your life?
A female role model?
Yeah, like a mom or an aunt or a friend?
I mean, I love my mom. I wouldn't necessarily consider her a role model, but I do love her quite a bit.
If a woman was elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I don't know. It probably would depend on the woman. I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly, but
Why do you say that, if you don't mind me asking?
I do think that, you know, men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Since
I do actually have some level of agreement with this. I think that women are actually better with, more feminine roles. I don't think that they're exclusively good with those roles. There are some women who are absolute powerhouses, but I think in the wake of, us trying to be very, like, open to all people being employed in all jobs, women and men just being, like, kind of mixed together, there are certain points where I think that women can do a job better than men, and men can do a job better than women. I'm just saying. When it comes to the conformance of gender roles, I think that some men are better at conforming to male gender roles, the stereotypical male gender roles, and women are better at conforming to the feminine ones. I think that you should find strength with who you are. I don't think you should feel like you have to denounce your femininity or your masculinity just because it's a new age and we're all, like, getting woke. Or the opposite, where we have to, be locked down into it and fearful and all of a sudden, like, oh my god, this new generation's destroying typical stereotypical gender roles. None of that stuff exists. Just do your thing. That's my biggest issue with all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I don't know how a woman would do as president. I think it would depend on the political status, the entire party, the woman. I'm not very good with politics, I'm not gonna lie. Probably would be the same, honestly. Probably wouldn't do anything. I don't know, though. Maybe in the wake of interacting with other countries, like, on a leadership scale, it would be a problem, because they might not take her seriously initially, but I could be wrong. Maybe they will.
women of color or just women in general have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially the LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression.
Also, I do have to point out, I don't know what he's talking about yet, but this is so left field. Like, did I miss something? Because she's talking like, I feel like they cut this weird or something, because I do not feel like I'm following. Maybe it's because they're referring to the stereotypical incel stuff. So, I don't know. Let me go back a little bit.
Women of color or just women in general have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially the LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression. I have a feeling. I would view it more as how we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will. I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past. And I would say that if we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology, I would assume that women would probably be happier. And I wouldn't just assume that blindly, I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
I'm so sorry. I am not following this piece at all properly. I need to rewatch this for a third time or something, but no, I don't think so. I don't know. I feel like men should definitely, like, if they want to have that particular gender role, they're going to have to make sure. This is the problem with incels. One thing I do have to actually criticize about this is the thing I've seen with incels that is the biggest problem is they want the perfect, traditional woman, but they don't want to be a traditional man. They want the traditional woman who takes care of her body and does all this stuff and she works out and she's really like, you know, good with kids, and she's a stay-at-home mom and she takes care of the whole house, but she somehow also, like I've heard this also, she somehow makes a lot of money still too. She's got like a side job and all this stuff. And then on the opposite scale, like the guy just wants to like basically have all of that for himself, but he doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to work out. He wants to like basically just get sex whenever he wants. He doesn't really want to do anything to kind of build up to meeting that traditional role as well. So there's an automatic power imbalance. And that's my biggest issue, I think, with the incel thing. It's not what you expect, it's what you put out along with your expectations. You know, if you want a traditional, like, wife and you want to live with your opinions and whatever this is, I don't even know what's going on here. But if you want a traditional wife, you have to act like a traditional man, or you're not going to meet her needs. She's going to operate as traditionally as you will. And I think this is one problem, is the whole incel thing, and trust me, like, I've met a lot of incels in my day, and I think a lot of people have. When a man wants a traditional girl, he needs to act traditionally. He needs to be prim, proper, a gentleman, clean, perfect. Like, he wants to be as perfect as she is, and that's just not realistic. So I don't know exactly what this guy's talking about or what he's aiming for, but I just think that you give what you get, alright? That's my rule, is if I were to be a traditional wife, I'd want a traditional husband. If I'm not going to be traditional, then I expect a non-traditional sort. The outcome's going to be likely. Contrast is a possibility, but it's unlikely.
What data have you seen that has brought you to this conclusion? Because I'm now curious where I can get this data from.
I couldn't reference it offhand, but I believe there was a study that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Honestly, I don't know if he's actually referring to a study or not. I'll give him that grace, but if I were in this situation, I wouldn't know any studies. Like, you know, I could talk about atherosclerotic plaque buildup in arterial walls or something, but there's no way I'm going to be able to source the study when I'm in a room talking to a bunch of other people. It's just not going to happen. You'd have to give me data collection time.
Okay. What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects such as looks, and that typically...
No. Promiscuity, okay, one. If you're talking about girls, like, being promiscuous... okay, wait, I'm so sorry. I need to shut the fuck up and give him another minute. I'm so sorry.
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects such as looks.
No. Wait. So you're saying that a woman being promiscuous means that she can basically, like, increase her standards based on looks. I feel like, I don't know about you, but I feel like it would be the opposite. Like, the more promiscuous you are, the less you give a crap about what people look like, and you just want that dong. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like actually girls' standards are higher when they're not promiscuous. Am I stupid? Like, and I'm just generalizing amongst women. This could be with anybody. I feel like you, as an individual, will have higher standards when you are literally looking for a fortified relationship. You want to be with somebody who's competent and capable. If you're promiscuous, you're throwing yourself around a little bit, or maybe you just, you know, aren't that committed to anything yet. I feel like your standards are going to be a little lower because you don't know what you want. You don't really care that much. You care about some looks here and there, but, you know, you'll still try your hand with a lot of stuff. I've met a lot of people who are more on the line of giving anything a go than being like, oh, you're kind of ugly, I'm not going to play my hand. I feel like, you know, people think with their crotches sometimes, you know, they don't really care about what's up here, they care about what's down below. Now, saying that, I feel like when you're actually looking for a fortified relationship, yeah, you're going to be more inclined to look for looks, to look for, you know, the more beautiful sort, someone you could spend the rest of your life with, somebody who's more competent, conformant to things that you want. Like, you want somebody that you can have a balanced relationship with. So, I don't know about that, man. I think that's, like, sideways, but I could be wrong.
And that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people. Like, there's guys who are much better looking than I am who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London or in Auckland, New Zealand, but they probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
So you think that promiscuity is the problem, and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose people were more traditionalist.
There have been a few mass shootings.
Wow, this video, I'm so sorry if I screw any of this video up. This is deep, and I am on surface level right now. Like, also, holy guacamole. Everything feels so chopped up and, like, right at you. I can't even, like, keep up with half of this. Now they're talking about mass shootings. This video, I don't even care if it's not demonetized. I don't even know if it's going to stay on YouTube.
In the past where these shooters actually stated that they were incels or were radicalized by online incels. What do you...
Now, to be fair, I do not think that all incels are going to be this extremist. You know, you can have extremist views, but not act extremely as well. So even if I were to say hypothetically, or these people hypothetically, or anyone else were to hypothetically perceive incels and their just views as extreme, that does not mean they're going to act extremely in any regard. There are people who, sure, are considered incels and happen to be very violent sorts with criminal records, and they become viral and all that stuff. I would say that is still a very small amount of individuals amongst the incel population. So this already is like one of those things where it's like, all right, this is why I also don't want to conform to any groups or to say that you as an incel, if you're identifying as an incel, you shouldn't. Even if you are one, if you don't want to be associated with the more extremist forms of individuals in those groups, okay? In the incel group. Because in that category, you're just going to have that as a result. That's just going to be what it's going to be.
Think about their actions.
I condemn their actions. I don't believe I don't believe violence is the solution. I don't believe attacking random people is going to fix anything, whether they're, you know, women or men. I do think that the reason why they committed those actions was probably because of out of desperation or out of, you know, mental problems that probably could have been prevented had the right support was in their community, in their household. If people, you know, saw what they were posting and saw what they were experiencing in life and did something to help them.
I can actually level with a lot of what he said there. The ending is a little bit like, you know, a little bit questionable, like what he means with community again. But yeah, like, you know, I feel like maybe a lot of these guys don't feel like they can really talk to anybody. They don't have a lot of people paying attention to them in any capacity, so they start posting all this stuff, and then they start thinking crazy. And, like, it's very small in regards to that population again, or that community. But the thing I'm seeing here is, like, he's denouncing it, honestly. Like, he's just, you know, kind of going like, nah, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't believe in that. I think we need to give better support to stop that. So, you know, again, it's not like he's, like, being righteous about it or anything like that. I think this dude's just kind of confused, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry. I'm very troubled in regards to figuring out half of this video. It's like, really weird in my mind. Like, the editing or, like, maybe, like, the people who are kind of, like, you know, questioning them. Like, there are parts of the conversations I'm just missing. Or the context is that a lot of them are liberal and incels are automatically associated as, like, right-wing extremists. I'm not sure. I don't think all incels are, but I guess on the traditionalist view, they would be considered more extreme on the right wing or the conservative side. So maybe the contrast was intended. I'm a little bit all over the place. So do pardon that. My apologies if I screw any of this video up. I'm already confused.
Is there like a pivotal moment in your life? Like a straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back?
You know, it's constant years of rejection, no matter who the person was, constant years of rejection in other aspects of my life. It did kind of push me towards more, I suppose, radical beliefs, but I suppose they're only like radical, but they're more just old beliefs, really.
This is the thing, though, dude. Like, honestly, if you keep getting rejected, then you gotta look in on yourself. Like, this is, like, one thing that, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not perceiving this appropriately, but when I get rejected by somebody, which I have been rejected before, and I've also rejected people. And when I've gotten rejected, it's usually just been because it's like, I'm weird. Like, get over it. If I want to be less weird, I can be, and then maybe I'll be rejected less. Am I going to change myself? Probably not. You know, boo-hoo for me. I guess I'm not going to get any yet. Like, that's the level of logic that I operate on. I don't really worry that much. But, like, I feel like if you're just constantly getting rejected, maybe there's something about your approach that's wrong. Maybe you're just, like, looking for the girl that you want to be more traditional in a non-traditional subset of girls or, like, a group of girls that is just not going to conform to that. Maybe you want to work on your looks. Like, honestly, this guy's not that, like, bad looking or anything like that. He looks fine. But, like, facially speaking, he could cut his hair. That's literally, like, just show his face more, or tie his hair back, or, like, hold it back a little bit. Because that's the thing. It's like, if you look like this and you got your hair in your face, and I should know because I do that on my channel all the time, it looks kind of weird. It looks like you're just, like, an emo from 2007. It's, like, not appealing. Like, a lot of girls want to be able to see your face. And it doesn't look like he's ugly or anything. Like, he could do fine. Like, he just needs to be out there and with it. And then maybe, like, change up his style. Maybe his style is not for what people are looking for. Or do the same thing and then just deal with it. Deal with the rejection. Like, this is my problem also. It's like, there's nothing wrong with being continually rejected. The problem is, I find that a lot of people who are continually rejected will blame others around them more than themselves for maybe it's something they're doing, and it could be something small, and you could like just work on that and feel way better about yourself because you're like, man, I've overcome this thing that was impairing me before, and now I'm getting all these dates, or I found the girl of my dreams, or whatever. But I don't know, man. I feel like he could do fine. He just needs to rework his like approach to things. It could just be that he's awkward. Like, he might not be, like, ugly or stupid or anything. Maybe he's just awkward. But I feel like if you're rejected a lot, you're just gonna end up on some kind of, like, extreme of, like, being like, no, I'm an incel, I'm part of this group, because this is the only group that's gonna accept me, because no one else is gonna accept me, that kind of thing. So, I don't know. Anyways, this video is already driving me, like, absolutely sideways, upside down. I don't even know what's going on here.
No, it sounds like I had another like metaphor, like death by 1,000 cuts. You know, it's not like one pivotal moment, but it sounds like a bunch of things built up over time.
Yeah.
One of the common criticisms about the incel community is that you feel entitled to sex or intimacy. Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy from a woman?
I think everybody at some level deserves someone that loves them and, you know, respects them, as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. You know, they're an equal. You know, you're not like seeking someone beyond yourself. You know, you don't have like too high standards, I suppose. You know.
If you can't tell them.
Okay, wait, that sounded a little bit like a dodge, because he didn't, like, this guy was like, they expect sex. Like, and that is also what I've heard as well. It's like, some incels expect sex. That is, like, the thing. It's like, I know it's iconic. There's, like, a couple of viral incel videos where they're like, I expect this woman, whenever I want, to have sex with me and love me all the time, and I don't have to try, and blah, blah. I know it's not all incels. But, like, wanting a normal mutualism between romanticism and a relationship, understandable. That's pretty common. Like, wanting to be able to, you know, get some and give some, like, I get it. But, I feel like he kind of dodged it there. And I don't know. It's not to say anything ill about him, but I feel like they just did not line up in terms of that question. Because, you know, at the same time, this guy is looking more on the traditionalist view, you know, this incel. And, you know, the guy asking the questions asking, like, some incels ask for sex and expect sex. They should, like, get it all the time is what they're saying. And this guy, he just answered more in a traditionalist way. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what his perception of that is. And again, this is all on camera. Like, he could be saying things to make it sound better than it is or worse than it is. I don't know. And also, this is also edited, so you don't know if that's going to be a problem too. Like, there's going to be a bias on both sides. So what's the truth? That's the real question.
World about something about being incel that, you know, that may not be in the internet or that's overlooked heavily, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it's mostly that most of the men are not inherently bad people. A lot of them are just lonely. They just need some help, really.
Okay. Would you say that there's anything that other people can do to help guide or just support or...
You know, the lonely person in your class or the lonely person in your workplace, maybe he's an incel and he's not letting you know and he's just kind of afraid to, he wants someone positive. Just be nice, say hi, try and make friends with him. You don't have to date him, you don't have to whatever, just, you know, brighten up someone lonely's day, I suppose.
That's not indecent at all, honestly. Like, and I can level with that. Like, I feel like, one, school, classmates, everybody's an asshole, so whatever. But also, like, that is not an indecent thing to say in regards to the perception of, like, helping people. I feel like one issue, and this is not just an incel issue, this is like, and this is not just an incel boy issue, like, this is a guy issue. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like, if you're not hot, and you're not smart, and you don't know how to talk well, and you kind of are like a weird boy, like, kind of like a weirdo, then a lot of people are not going to give you the time of day. And that's how it was in my school. I don't know. Canadian schooling was kind of weird, though, and I wasn't there for very long. You know, unless somebody's being an absolute creep, give them the time of day. Give them a little grace. All right, everybody deserves a little bit of grace. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not making that much sense here, but I'm just kind of thinking to myself, man, this is such a weird video. I don't know how I even got this.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. I mean, you know, you want to try and escape it. You want to be something better. You know, you want to get a wife, get a girlfriend, get someone who loves you, spend your life with them, and be happy. And
What's one thing?
I love how she's like, and you don't want to be an incel? You don't want to be involuntarily celibate by name? Be involuntarily celibate? Which, by the way, the terminology there is hilarious. I wonder when that first was kindled. I want to do a little internet deep dive on where the first incels were really noted online and when the term incel came in, because it's just blown up over the years, but it must have been a thing on like 4chan or Reddit for a long time. I don't know. I'm just being crazy. But, you know, it's just so interesting because, like, you know, like, I've kind of had the reverse of an incel. So I guess I'm just a celibate, or abstinent or whatever, where I'm just like, I just haven't found the right person yet, and I don't want to. I've had the opportunity, but I don't want to. You know, that kind of thing? These people are looking for the opportunity, but they can't find it, which is also funny. Either way, though, you're not getting any, so it doesn't matter. As long as you don't become a violent, crazy psychopath, nobody cares. And also, this is weird because the concept of an incel is literally on the basis, like, I know the group and community is maybe a different thing, but the concept of being an incel, where you are an involuntary celibate, bypassing any variables or characteristics, it doesn't have its own political grouping, does it? I know that a lot of incels kind of appeal to the traditionalism and stuff, and obviously this guy is referring to the community as well, so obviously he is on part with that, and he's talking about traditionalism and whatnot, but are all incels traditionalists? Or are most incels traditionalists? It's very interesting. It's just so mixed together. I'm just very confused already. And I'm sorry that I'm not making good eye contact with you. I'm just staring at this screen thinking to myself, maybe I'm going insane. I don't know yet.
Thing you wish people understood better about you?
I don't know. I guess I wish people would recognize how much effort I'm trying, I suppose. Like, you know, I'm working out typically daily. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm out there job hunting actively. I don't think people recognize how much effort the incels in general try to put into bettering themselves. I would say, you know, people don't recognize their effort. They just assume that they're all like lazy and sad and angry at women and just giving up and things of that nature, I suppose.
Okay.
One, great job on the weight loss. Great job on the concept of self-betterment. That is my number one rule with everybody. I don't care if you're a guy, a girl, incel, or you get a bunch. Either way, you should always work for bettering yourself. When you don't, everyone will exceed you. Doesn't matter where you come from. Everyone will exceed you.
You don't have to see the bad things in the world and then come out a bad person. You can just see the bad things in the world and then improve upon yourself because of them, I suppose.
So you do have hope.
Yeah, I have hope, yeah. I'm a very hopeful person, I suppose.
I won't lie, this went a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought we'd be yelling at each other, you know?
It was nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you, too.
Thank you so much.
Wow, I love how they were, like, probably expecting a sociopathic, like, put women in chains and lock them in a bedroom and give them a frying pan so they can just get moved to the kitchen whenever you want, like, kind of vibe or something. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. But in general, like, again, I don't think this guy should associate with the incel community. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I know he's probably got friends that are in the same boat, and he's talked to a lot of people, and he has more experience with such a community than I would. But I just personally don't think that it's going to be beneficial to associate with any community, any kind of grouping, political, ideological, philosophical. I just think it gets progressively more problematic. But that's just my perception. I really am just very anti-group for people. I think that associating with groups can be really bad, but that's just me. Outside of that, though, this guy seems like he's actually on the up and up, so I don't think anybody... I don't even know why he should identify as an incel. It just doesn't make that much sense to me. Some of his views are kind of weird, but it's so hard in an 8-minute video to figure out what the heck half of these people are talking about and referring to, so... I don't know, man. I just don't think you should associate with communities and whatnot, but the concept of bettering yourself should always be flat out with everybody. As soon as you stop, you are weak. You are useless in the eyes of society. You will never grow beyond the point that you are at. Doesn't matter where you come from, where you are now. It matters on where you strive to be and to always exceed. That's just my personal opinion, though. But tell me what you think in the comments below, especially if you're a considered incel in the incel community. That would be interesting to hear. But yeah, tell me what you think, my people. Tell me what you think, fellow celibates or incels or whatever. And yeah, I don't know, that was the video. It's been lovely, my people. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Slater.